What's up, guys? It's Harley here again from Bet on It MMA. Here to give you guys my quick picks for this weekend's UFC 286 card. We got a highly anticipated rematch, man. We got Usman versus Edwards 3. Last fight, Edwards came back in the fifth final round, scored a devastating knockout to capture the title. Usman running it back to see if he can regain his strap, man. On top of that, we got a great card from top to bottom. Through the early prelims, the main card, and everything should be pretty good on this card, man. Before I jump into it, remember that this is just my early predictions. Nothing's locked in yet. That's just me going off paper and what I've seen in the past and what I've seen so far. But remember that me and Zach are going to be back sometime this week to give you guys our full predictions, parlays, and any other insight that we can give you. We'll be back this week, later on this week, to do that for you guys. Before we jump into this, all I ask you to do is like and subscribe to the video. Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. With that being said, let's jump right into it, man. First fight, we got... here we go. We got Veronica Hardy, 6-4-1, fighting Juliana Miller, 3-1. If you guys remember, Juliana Miller won the Ultimate Fighter. Really fun female fighter to watch, man. Looking forward to seeing her make her official UFC debut. Like I said, she's taking on Veronica Hardy, who's 6-1. Hardy's lost 4 of her last 5. Like I said, Miller coming up the Ultimate Fighter. This is the fight to me that the UFC is just trying to get Juju rolling, Juliana Miller on the right track to start a career. I see Juliana Miller just taking her down, having her way, and winning a pretty solid decision, man. With that being said, we're going to move right on to the next fight. The next fight, we got Jai Herbert, who's 12-1, fighting Ludwig Klein, who's 19-4. Close fight, man. This is going to be a good fight. Both guys rely heavily on their striking. I think this one could truly go either way. With that being said, I'm leaning towards Klein as of now. I think he's got the advantage on his feet, but you got to remember Herbert's that long striker, good height and reach on him. If he can use his reach, it could cause problems for Klein. So, like I said, definitely not a fight that I'm completely locked in on yet. But if I had to lean towards somebody, I think I would go with Klein. I think he's a little more technical, and I think that'll get him the edge in this fight on the feet. Moving up the card, next fight we got Joanne Wood, who's 15-8, fighting Luna Carolina, who's 8-3. Wood is a veteran, big veteran presence, been in the UFC for a long time, pretty familiar with her. She's struggled as of late, but all of her losses lately have come to really good opposition. She's got more experience, and I think that'll play a big factor in this fight. If you remember Carolina's last fight, she was the girl that got knocked out by Molly McCann by that big spinning elbow. Carolina's kind of up and down herself. And like I said, Joanne Wood, she's got, I think, 3 losses in a row, but they're all against really good opposition. And I think this fight will get her back on track. With that being said, women's MMA is kind of tricky to call at times. So definitely a fight that you need to keep your eye on. But right now, I'm leaning towards Joanne Wood with her experience. Next fight, we got Jake Hadley, 9-1, facing Malcolm Gordon, who's 14-6. Another really good fight here. Jake Hadley, man, a really good prospect who Zach and I have covered a few times already on our podcast. Really well-rounded, good striker, good pressure striker who's in your face. He's well-rounded. He can take you down and submit you as well. And you got Malcolm Gordon, another guy who really comes to fight, who wants to put a lot of pressure on you. Like I said, both guys come to fight. There's a good step up for Harley. This might be his toughest test in his career, in his UFC career. I know he's got a loss in his UFC career, but to me, this might be his toughest test. With that being said, I think Hadley is a little too well-rounded for Gordon, man. He can win a fight multiple ways, and I just see Jake Hadley staying on that climb and continuing to make noise in the UFC, man. Looking forward to seeing this one because that'll be a fun one. Next fight, we got Christian Leroy Duncan, who's 7-0, fighting Dusko Todorovic. Sorry if I butchered his name right there. With that being said, Leroy Duncan making his UFC debut. Good, powerful prospect from Cage Warriors. Don't sleep on Todorovic though. He's had trouble with his chin in the past, and he's facing a really good striker. Todoric's gonna come to fight, but like I said, he's had trouble with his chin in the past, and Leroy Duncan's a good striker, 7-0, got good knockout power. I think he'll be able to catch. I think he'll be able to catch Todorovic in this fight, but don't sleep on him. He's gonna come to fight, and Leroy Duncan making his UFC debut, so he could have some jitters. Moving on to the next fight, we got, let's see. We got Leroy Murphy, who's 11-0-1, fighting Gabriel Santos, who's 10-0. Another tricky fight here. Both guys are undefeated. Santos making his debut on short notice. I'm leaning towards Murphy. Like I said, Santos, really good fighter, good striker. 10-0 for a reason. But I'm leaning towards Murphy, man. Murphy's done well as of late. And like I said, Santos making his UFC debut on short notice. I think he'll have some success in this fight. But I think I see Murphy's experience ultimately taking over and helping him grind out a really close decision win. I see Santos having his moments. I definitely do. But I think Murphy's experience will play a big factor in this one to help him edge out a victory. Next fight, we got Mohamed Makayev versus Jafel Filio. Makayev's 8-0 and Filio is 14-2. Filio making his UFC debut. With that being said, I just think, Makayev's been on a roll lately. He's 8-0 for a reason. Really good ground game. And I just think Filio's gonna make some noise in his career. I just think this is a little too steep of a test for him in his UFC debut. We know what Makayev brings to the table. Really good ground game. Like I said, he's 8-0 for a reason. And I just feel like that'll help him pull through in this fight, man. Moving on to the next fight, we got Sam Patterson, 10-1-1, fighting Yanel Amos, who's 6-0. Both guys really good prospects. I'm leaning towards Patterson though. He's got a little more power and has fought better opposition. But both guys, Osmo is 6-0 for a reason, man. And both guys come to fight. Both really good prospects. So yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Sam Patterson. I feel like he's fought a little bit better opposition. Tough fight to call though, because both guys, coming in making their UFC debuts. I just think Patterson has fought the better opposition, has got a little more experience, and has got a little more power. And that's what's got me leaning towards Patterson right here. Next fight, we got Chris Duncan, 9-1, facing Omar Morales, 11-3. Really tough fight to call. I'm leaning towards Duncan. I think his power can carry him through this one. But this one can go either way. You got Omar Morales, who's 11-3. He struggled lately. And you got Chris Duncan, 9-1. If you remember Chris Duncan on the Contender Series, he was losing that fight, got rocked really bad, and then while he was rocked, the guy come in and he countered him coming in and ultimately put him away. But if he'd have took a couple more shots, he'd end up losing that fight, and he probably wouldn't be here in the UFC today. So this is a tricky fight, man. This one could go either way. But like I said, I'm leaning towards Duncan. Don't sleep on Morales, though, man. Morales got UFC experience. He's got some good experience under his belt. He's going to come to fight, and I think it's a good test for Duncan. So, really interesting fight to keep your eye on right here. Next fight, we got Jack Shore, 16-1, facing Makwan Americani, who's 17-8. Really confident in Shores in this one. I think he's got a bright future in the UFC, and I think he's a little more well-rounded. He likes to lean on his wrestling, but he can strike a little bit as well. I think that'll help him. His well-roundedness, or get him through this one and get him a victory. Moving up the card, first, this fight's gonna open up the main card here. We got Marvin Vettori, 18-5-1, facing Roman Delite, 12-1. This is one of the fights that I'm most excited about on the card overall. Two very exciting fighters to watch. Really tough fight to call. You got Vettori, who's got a little more experience and extremely fun to watch, going against Delite, who's got a good ground game and legit knockout power as well. Right now, I'm leaning towards Marvin Vettori, but this one could definitely change for me. I like both guys. I like what they bring to the table. I think it could go either way. Right now, I'm going to lean towards Vettori to get it done. But I like this. I'll have a final answer for you on our next podcast. Next fight, we got Jennifer Maia, 20-9, fighting Casey O'Neill, who's 9-0. Maia's a veteran who's seen it all in her career. Going up against Casey O'Neill, who hasn't fought in a while due to injury. When she was fighting, she was on a roll, man. She was taking girls down, beating them up, and using her wrestling and really running through girls, man. So I think with that being said, even though Casey's coming off an injury, I think she'll be ready to rock and roll. And I'm leaning towards Casey in this fight, man. I think she'll be able to implement her game plan, get Maia to the ground, and to get a victory, probably a decision victory. But don't sleep on Jennifer Maia. Again, women's MMA is tricky to call. You got Maia, who's a slick veteran, been around for a long time. But I think Casey will be a little too much for her in this one. Next fight, you got Gunnar Nelson fighting Brian Barberena, man. Right now, I'm leaning towards Barberena. He's been more active lately and has fought really good opposition as well. I see him stuffing takedowns and outstriking Nelson. If I had to pick a winner in this fight right now, that's who I would pick and why. Like I said, Gunnar Nelson's been a little inactive lately, and Barberena's been active, put on some good showings, and fought some really good opposition. So I think that'll help him pull through in this one. Right now, excuse me. Next fight, we got the co-main event, man. Another fight that I'm really looking forward to. You got Justin the Highlight Gaethje, 23-4, fighting Rafael Fiziev, who's 12-1. Yeah, this fight you got a veteran and Justin Gaethje, former world champion in multiple organizations, fighting Rafael Fiziev, who's 12-1, hot up and coming prospect, who's been on a roll lately. Fan-friendly fight right here, striking heavy matchup. I'm leaning towards Fiziev. He's a little more technical, and Gaethje tends to get a little wild when he gets into those striking exchanges. But you can't sleep on Gaethje. Like I said, he's fought the who's who. He's seen it all. Former world champion for a reason. Comes to fight, gonna put a lot of pressure on you. And this is Fiziev's toughest test of his career, and he's gonna get tested. We're gonna find out in this fight, win, lose, or draw, what Fiziev's about. And hey, if Justin Gaethje gets this win, this could put him right back in the mix, man, for bigger fights down the road. So a lot riding on this fight for both guys, man, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. Last but not least, in the main event of the evening, we got Leon Edwards, the champ Leon Edwards, 20-3, facing Kamaru Usman, 20-2, who a lot of people say one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. We saw what happened in the last fight. Like I said in the intro, you had Kamaru Usman controlling their last fight, really having his way, getting to the ground. Looked like he was going to cruise on his way to cruising to a decision victory. And Leon got up to his feet in the last couple minutes of the fight and feinted and set up a beautiful head kick to close out the show and stop Kamaru Usman. With that being said, I just think, Leon Edwards, two really good fighters. Leon Edwards is a champion for a reason. Got to give the man his props. But Usman just got caught in that last fight, man. I think Usman I think his ground game will be a little too much for him. But hey, like I said, we saw what happened last fight. All it takes is for Leon Edwards to catch you with one shot and he can put your lights out. So you definitely got to keep that in mind. But I think Usman gets back on track, implements his game plan, gets to the ground, and ultimately takes back his belt. But hey, fights aren't won on paper, fights are won in the cage. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this main event and the whole card. With that being said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for my early prediction podcast for this week. Thank you guys for watching. All I ask for you to do is like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like the video. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And be sure to tune in later on this week for our full prediction and breakdown for UFC 286, the rematch, Usman versus Edwards 3. Until then, so long, guys. Take care.